Chapter 6. Save the World. Belaha pulled the stone from a hidden pouch and laid it in front of them, giving Rory a piercing glare. You left this where we landed. Let me make an important point about this stone. Life or death important. When you are traveling, this stone is your one and only ticket home. Without it, I can't get you back. Billy said, I thought you told us we weren't traveling with our bodies. Belaha picked up a rock and threw it at Billy so fast he didn't have time to duck. It hit him right between the eyes. Ow! That hurt! How can it hurt if you don't have a body? Billy rubbed his head and glared at Belaha. I don't know. You're the one with the answers. Then pay attention. What travels is the energy of your form. That is the most important part of your body. You just aren't carrying around the bag of meat. That's sitting back in your kiva. Tima looked thoughtful. What happens if someone sees us back there? Won't happen. Hiding a place from unaware people is pretty easy, and I did it before we left. However, the energy form has limitations. It can't carry something physical from here to your time and place. You need your physical bodies for that. And to defeat the Kroledutz, you have to bring something from this kiva back to your time. I'm not telling what it is yet. So how do we travel with our bodies? Asked Rory. You have to activate the stone. Once you activate the stone, it becomes a portal, and you can travel to any time, place, or dimension with your physical body. Until then, it keeps your energy form stable, especially when you're traveling, especially now when all this is new to you. That is why you have to pay attention to the stone. If you lose it before you learn a lot more, you are stuck. You can't get back, even with my help. Keep track of the stone. Very important. Got it, said Rory. Billy asked, if this kiva is at Rattlesnake Ranch and what we need is in it, why can't we just dig for it in our time? Think back to this afternoon when you were out here. Did you see a kiva? Of course not. There's the old falling down Rattlesnake Ranch building. That Cisco dude has a portable office trailer. Most of the ground is covered with old asphalt. I guess it was the parking lot. Belaha continued. So how deep do you think we are now? James spoke up. Based on the time it took to climb down, I'd say we're 12 to 15 feet down. Belaha nodded again. Now add to that several feet of dirt that's covered it in the past 5,000 years, and you'd have quite a bit of digging to do. Think you can do that in your time without anyone seeing? Rory agreed. That's right. If we start finding things, there'll be archaeologists all over the site in a flash. We couldn't take anything. Billy said, I guess you're right. Besides, I'm guessing Cisco wouldn't let us dig a big hole just because we asked. Exactly. You need to activate the stone so it becomes a portal so you can travel here and bring back the key. How do we do that? Asked Tima. To activate the stone, you have to survive 4 challenges. I'll take you, but you have to get through them on your own. On each one, you will learn something you need to activate one of the corners. 4 corners, 4 challenges. Get it? Billy asked, what's in it for us? I mean, this sounds dangerous. Why should we risk it? The Kroledutz know you are here. They'll be coming for you. If you fail or do nothing, the Kroledutz will kill you. They'll never leave you alone until they rip you apart. Then they'll turn to everyone else in your world. Succeed, and you save the world. Fail, and you die. Is that a good enough reason? What if we just refuse to play? Asked James. Won't matter. You'll find out why on one of the challenges, but the Kroledutz won't ask if you want to fight. They will attack, and if you stand there, that's fine with them. It will just make it faster and easier to rip you apart. They don't care if you believe in them. They believe in you. James looked sick. He didn't like the options, but he couldn't see a way out. Belaha stood up. You need to see what you'll be facing. Then I'll take you home. They looked at James. He took a deep breath and nodded. I'm ready. Put your hands on the stone, ordered Belaha. Hold on. This will be fast, but we won't land like we did here. I'm not sure what may be there to greet us, so we're going to stop at a holding point. What's that? Asked Rory. Think of it as an observation platform. When we get there, keep your eyes open and your mouths shut. He looked at Billy. I mean it. One noise at the wrong time, and you might not make it back. Billy nodded his understanding. Again, the roaring filled their ears. The shimmering energy cloud filled the kiva, and Balaha faded into a ball of light. He rose and hovered over the stone. Following a thread that glowed more than the others, they were quickly pulled up into the web. Soon they were flashing along the thread that broadened into a ribbon of glowing light. Looking around, Rory saw the glowing spheres floating beyond the ribbons, but now he saw that countless threads and ribbons started at each sphere. The spheres seemed to be wrapped in them. The speed, the glow, the rush of energy from all around was a wonderful feeling. Rory's mouth stretched wide into a grin. This rocks! I was born to ride these ribbons. Hold on, called Balaha. Remember, no talking. Balaha looked down, checking where they were, nodded, and said, okay. They felt the dropping sensation, then a sudden stop. Looking around, Rory saw they were just outside a big shopping center in Albuquerque, but the angle was wrong. They were looking at the scene from above, like they were in a tall building, but they weren't standing on anything. Balaha spoke so quietly it seemed a rustle of leaves. He gestured to them all. Look at the people. Look for the threads. Relax your eyes and do not focus on what you expect to see. Allow your mind to see what is there. Rory looked at the people, but instead of focusing and giving each a label, there's a fat guy or cool shoes, he tried to open his eyes and shut his mind's mouth. As he did, he began to see a cloud around the group he was looking at. At first his mind tried to explain it, and it went away. He tried again, looking and not explaining. Slowly the threads began to fade into view. Some of the people had threads of energy extending up from them, but they were not the bright threads he saw coming from his hands and body. Dark blobs hovered around many people. The blobs seemed to be stuck onto the threads. Suddenly the picture came into focus. The blobs were creatures, like the one that had attacked him, and they were sucking on the people's threads. There were also blobs floating around freely, looking for an open thread to grab. Some of the blobs had settled completely around a person, oozing all over them like enormous leeches. Those people had either very dim threads or no threads at all. Rory could tell the blobs were sucking out the thread's energy. It was a horrible thing to see, someone being slowly eaten alive before their eyes. Tima whispered urgently, "Stop them, we have to stop them." Balaha made a cutting motion with his hand. "I told you, quiet. Look how many there are. You can't stand against one, and this is an entire nest. We better get out of here. I knew it was bad, but didn't know it was this bad. There are too many, and they've eaten most of the light around here. We're going to stand out like a floodlight in a dark room. They'll be sure to sense us as a new source of food, and then we'll be..." Suddenly, a huge shape loomed in front of them, blocking their view. The smell of rotten meat, burning plastic, and sweat made Rory dizzy. He was filled with both a terrible sadness and a bone-chilling fear. It was like when the thing attacked him last night, but even worse. He opened his mouth to scream and scream and scream, but couldn't do anything except gasp in panic. A screeching, grinding noise roared into Rory's brain. The thing was laughing. Forcing himself to look at the dark, bubbling creature, he saw red, glowing orbs for eyes and a hooked beak over a darker patch that opened wider and spoke. "Ah, Belaha," the thing rasped. "How good to see you after so long. I have been looking forward to tasting you for an eternity." Balaha stepped between the thing and the four, growing and expanding, taking on an enormous bright form that pulsed with power. His voice rolled forth, making the very air shake. "Radelam, you are as foul as ever, but looking a little worse for wear. Food getting a little thin? Your friends started to eat each other yet?" Radelam barked his hideous laugh. "Plenty to eat, plenty of puppets to play with, too. But I had been thinking about looking around for some new feeding grounds. Now that I know you're in the area, well, I think it's time to gather some of the others, and a hunting we will go." Rory noticed that more of the blobs, smaller than Radelam but just as menacing, were gathering behind the shapeless black thing. The red orbs looked past Belaha at the four friends. "Oh, look, you've brought me a snack," seemed to sniff the air and suddenly roared, "Not just snacks, they have a stone, they are so droll. You are attempting to clean the stain one last time. You seal your fate and theirs as well. It ends now." The thing hurled itself at them as the masses behind rose to attack as well. Belaha threw his arms wide, shouting, "El Atlecha et al Elecha Asta!" His entire form blazed with a burning bright light that shot outward and up to the sky. Threads shot from all over his glowing being, blazing light and color. With a scream, the Kroledutz fell back. Belaha turned, wrapped himself around the four, and said, "Time to go. Hold tight." With that, they leapt up a glowing thread and rocketed along the path. Rory looked back, but there was no sign of them all, the scene they had just witnessed, or, he was very glad, any of the blobs. Soon Belaha said, "We're back. Hold on." They dropped and landed with a thump, back in the hole, back in their time. Stunned, they looked at each other, then at Belaha, who had returned to his usual form. At once they started to bombard him with questions. He held up his hands for silence. When he spoke haltingly. "Look, Bambinos, I knew Radelam was in the area, but I didn't know he was this close. I didn't know he had an entire nest. This is worse, much worse than I thought." Billy was vibrating with anger. They were killing those people, and they wanted to kill us. Belaha looked at Billy. "Now you see what they are, and what they do when they feed." He looked at the four. "That is what you are facing. It isn't pretty, but if you do nothing, you and everyone you know are going to be Kroledutz food within the month." Tima said, What can we do? We don't know how to." Belaha broke in. I can't talk anymore. "I have to get back to my kiva. That little trick back there took more energy than I've had to use in a couple of 1,000 years. You're safe for now. Here's the deal. If you want to save yourself and the world, you have to complete the 4 challenges. It's the only way. 1 challenge a week, with the final one on the next full moon." James said, "There's no way we can fight those things. I'm not a wimp, but I can't do anything against something like that." Belaha replied, "It's possible, but far from easy or certain. I wish I could give you more time or more hope, but I can't. Here's what I ask. Give it a shot. 1 challenge. If you don't, the world, as you know it, will be over within the month, and you'll be done sooner than that." Billy spoke up, still mad. "I'm in. I don't like anything that thinks I'm a snack. I want to know enough to kick that Radelam's butt." Tima looked at Billy. "I'm with you. That was the worst thing I've ever felt. If they are coming for us, I'd rather have a shot at doing something about it." Rory nodded. "Things like that just don't go away." He turned to James. "I know this isn't your kind of thing, but there has to be 4 of us, and for some reason, you are one of the 4. We can't do this without you. Will you give it a try? Just the first one? If you want out after that at any time, none of us will pressure you." Rory looked at the others. "Agreed?" "Agreed," said Tima and Billy. James tried to find a hole in Rory's logic, but couldn't. Finally he sighed and nodded. "All right, 1 shot. Then I stay in or go, but it's my decision, and none of you stops talking to me or anything. Deal?" They all nodded, then turned to Belaha. Bent, looking very old and tired, he attempted a grin. "Good. Be back here next Sunday at 11:11, time of the half moon, and we'll take a trip. For now I've got some healing to do." He started to fade into the shimmering ball of smoke. Then his face reformed and stared at Rory. "Techta, you got the stone?" Rory held it up. "You bet. I'm never letting loose of this. I wouldn't want to be searching for it when Radelam opens his mouth." Belaha grinned. "Good for you and good for him. You'd probably give him the farts. With that, Belleroth faded once more into the ball of smoke and was gone.